Welcome back to the Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Nicole and
Sup?
Yvie. Hey guys.
Hello.
How you doing?
You merged us into the one introduction, like you said it really quickly, and
Yeah,
I
it was
was
weird.
expecting there to be a pause where one of us went hello.
I just
Dave was like,
forgot.
"There's no messing
I forgot
about
this is not an
today."
audio thing. Yeah. So this is very good.
You can't insert your pauses later. You need to insert them now.
I do. I need to. So I just got back from LA
Yeah.
and
Oh wow! I actually didn't know you went to LA.
yeah, I went there for
yeah.
work.
Yeah. David was in a rush back. Everything went wrong. It was a very funny
Everything
evening.
went
It had
wrong.
lots- Everything went wrong. So thank you to the people here who were there yesterday.
But it was a really good time. So this year is the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future.
Yes.
And at
the
Universal, they have a thing called Fan Fest Nights, and they are they had
Einstein.
where the original Hill Valley Square was. They had the whole thing set up, and they were doing reenactments of the first film.
Amazing.
So
That is awesome.
yes, so it was absolutely just extraordinary. I'm trying to find
I'm so jealous.
a clip here. Let me see. How familiar are you guys with the first film?
Pretty familiar.
It's one of my favorite films.
I
of
have
all time.
beef with it. We've,
Oh, you do?
Evie
Oh, I
and
try and
I've been through
ignore
this.
that. Yeah, I try and ignore it because
Yeah.
it's quite blaringly obvious. But yeah.
I think I need to watch it a few more times before I can ignore it. Just get used to it, you know.
Oh really? I watch it on the regular. Like I watch it at least
Yeah.
like a couple of times.
So
a
they've
year.
taken the entire Hill Valley Square and they've
Yeah.
recreated 5 or 6 classic scenes from the movie. And this
the-
ends today. So this is the last one, and it was going on for about a month and a half. There's
Wow.
Goldie Wilson the third right there.
Yes, Goldie Wilson. man,
And
Goldie Wilson.
Marty is dying.
Yes.
So obviously George needs to kiss the girl. Come on. Kiss her already.
Wow.
Kiss her!
Oh, that is so awesome.
And of course, it ends with the appropriate sequence. Let me see here. So they projected the climax on
Yeah.
the clock tower.
That's great.
Amazing. Brilliant.
Let's see here.
Oh, I love that they did that against the clock tower. That's
Against the
really
clock tower.
cool.
So everything was remade for the film here in the square.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant.
Wow, the effort.
Wait for it.
Oh, that's very cool.
that
That's
is
so
awesome.
cool. Oh. I love that energy. See, you don't get the stuff in the UK because no one can be asked.
Nope. And it's right where they
Everyone's
shot
like-
it. So that was pretty amazing. I've
Like,
got.
Cool.
even the Harry Potter world sucks here, and I'm just like, we
That's
made
not
the damn
true.
thing.
The studio tour is great.
Yeah, but not as good as the huge stuff that you guys have with the big outdoor buildings and stuff. Ugh.
Wow.
No, beggars can't be choosers. I have a bad example. You ready?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I won't get it, but I'm excited.
How do you know that? All right.
Because I never
If
get
it's
them.
if it's brief candle, I think Evie will.
Is the audience ready to rock and roll? Here we
Yeah,
go.
let's do it.
Oh, okay. Getting beamed up.
No, or
what's with
that's
the
just the
head?
Stargate from above. Oh my, oh, David, this is a horrible example. It's not just bad; it's horrible.
Oh, come on. Someone's got to
hold
get
on,
this.
hold on. Is that a Stargate?
Yes.
For sure. Is that Small Victories or something? That's my
No, it's
first
the
guess
ramp.
because I've got no idea. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, is it like, you know? But it looks like
Oh,
a
is it-
person, not an Asgard walking out. It's not
okay,
Jeff,
so I
is it?
thought it was a-
Lockwatcher
I thought it
says,
was a
"Is it
beam.
Stargate?" Yes, it's Stargate.
I
No.
thought it was a beam, but it's not. It's the
It's the gate, it's the ramp, yeah. I almost want to say it's Jeff, but I don't think the outfit is correct. David.
He's dead.
This is- This is mean. He's dead.
Yes. Look at the top of his head.
Enemy within.
Yes. God.
I was just like, what is with the?
I was like, what's wrong with the top of his head? And then I realized it's chopped off.
No one got
That's
it.
awful.
That's right. I was gonna put in blood, and it was like, no, that's not right. It was cauterized.
That is a. I like that was a good bad example.
That was a
but
really
also
good bad example. That was terrible. I loved it. It was now that I know what it is.
I wrote
it's
it in
good.
20 seconds.
Yeah, amazing, amazing.
All right.
Evie, you have
and like
something
a
I need
really-
to read or something?
Oh no, this is later. This is for later.
Okay.
So I think it'll work better after we watch Chimera.
Okay.
So yesterday was the first episode of Dial the Gate that has ever been scuttled.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about last night's drama
So
before we start.
I've got to talk about this for a couple of seconds.
I'm not
Evie,
familiar with this drama, so this is new for me.
be so
it's
thankful that you weren't there for it, because I've never taken a live show going midway and halfway through it and deleting it. And that happened last night. We got about an hour in, and I was like, this is not working. We were playing Stargate Timekeepers episode 3, and there was an update to Zoom, to the sharing feature, where Jeff could not make a mouse click. He could move the mouse, but he couldn't click and navigate without the window being in a different format that it had always been in the past, but could not be now. So the alternative was for me to play, and I found out very quickly that I would have needed to physically play with the controls the first couple of episodes of the game in order to properly play it. And it was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I put this dog down out of its misery because this was bad.
Yeah.
And I felt so
you know
bad.
what, I went to go back and watch it like yesterday morning. So it would have been maybe like, I don't know, like a few hours after you would have streamed, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I was like, this is a bit strange, but you know, I don't know what happens when things are uploaded onto YouTube. So I just thought, well, I've missed it, and then I just left it.
You missed
but
it,
that
all
is
right.
wild.
Yeah. So
We
it
all
goes to
missed
show
it.
you can't assume that things that have worked in the past will continue to work, because they don't. So
can't
that
just
happened.
And they
fake
tried to
Zoom.
fix it, and they failed.
We tried every which way, and we could make it work when it was in full screen, when the game was in full screen. But then I can't get. I'm going to have to I think I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to have to properly calibrate things for next time.
Yeah.
So that's on me, everyone. So if you were there,
It's not
I'm so
on
sorry.
you.
It was on me
Not
to
your
make sure.
fault. You didn't choose to update Zoom.
I chose to. Well, that's true. I chose to not verify before running the live show, so I felt really bad about that. But I needed to.
You had like a flat, and
How
you just
many
landed
episodes
from
did you say
LA?
there've been of DTG, and this is the first time it's happened? So
Yeah,
I think you've done pretty well.
327 episodes. So I guess there's that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're
one little
here
glitch.
and we are ready to watch Stargate SG-1. So
Yeah,
Chimera
let's-
and Knell, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm quite
yes.
excited, actually. These are two bangers for Sam, literally.
I
This is true.
I actually don't mind both episodes.
Same,
And
yeah.
I'm going to put it out there. I don't like Pete, but I love David DeLuise.
Me too.
So,
Yeah.
Something with a duck on the front.
Also,
'cause if
David,
they
everyone.
say anything mean about the character, that is just
Oh, yeah, roast
the
him.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
It's
love David.
always it's a fine line between roasting a character and roasting an actor.
Yeah.
And it's an
Oh,
even
no,
finer
I
line
think
from the
you can
actor's
roast an actor.
perspective, because the actor
Yeah.
has worked to find things in a character that he's going to hope that people will like. And when people say no to that, David DeLuise has been in a really interesting character in terms of that, because he's been like, well, fine then, I'm going to just push it even more. You know,
If anything, I just
So-
feel kind of sorry for his character because he didn't have open hell of, making it.
he had the
any
deck stacked
further than
against
he
him
did.
before he started.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
It's like we're in
Ham
8
did.
seasons, we're in 7 seasons. I mean, let's give Sam something
Yeah.
to do, and so we'll talk about that during the
Let's
show.
get her laid. Woo. By the way, the comments, everyone's saying, David, the technology mess up, it was quite funny, actually.
Oh,
and very
good.
entertaining. And no one's mad at you, and it's
someone.
Zoom's fault.
Oh, I wouldn't think that they
So-
would be mad. It's just so
No,
it's just so
no.
irritating.
But I'm just saying, don't beat yourself up
Don't
about
beat myself
it.
up about it?
Yeah.
Definitely don't be rough on yourself, because this was not something you could have planned.
Yeah.
Fair point.
And
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Take all that energy and put it on Pete. Okay? So,
Wow. Okay. Very good. So I'm a huge Osiris fan. So let's watch her come
yeah.
home.
Oh,
guys ready to
let's
watch
do
this
it.
one?
Goodbye to Anna Louise.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm ready.
I
Let's
know,
get
I know.
myself-
Say
get
goodbye.
myself.
Let's have a banging time. More banging for some.
All right, all right. Chimera, everyone,
banging
get
for
your
some.
DVDs queued up. If there's an MGM logo with a roaring lion, he's really angry about something. Bypass that because we're going to jump into this right at the start of the previously on. In 5, 4, 3. Welcome back to Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Yvie
Hello.
and Nicole.
Sup?
This is Chimera, the return of Anna Louise Plowman as Sarah Gardner and Osiris. Not in that order for this episode. And the introduction of David DeLuise as Pete Shanahan. How y'all doing?
Absolutely. Well put. So I believe this is Anna Louise Plowman's final appearance as Sarah Gardner / Osiris. And I think I read somewhere that it was getting really expensive to fly her back and forth from the UK, but I don't know where she was living at the time that they were filming.
She was in the UK.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense then.
I think
Okay.
everyone's here. Her family are all, here. So she was just like, all right.
Yeah, fair. So this was actually one of the highest rated episodes of the season, pulling in about 2.3 million viewers.
In
And
terms
while-
of not, so guests, so viewership.
viewership.
Okay,
yeah.
not ratings. Okay.
No, not ratings. That was also an exterior shot of what appears to be the University of Chicago Laboratory School, which is basically a campus at the university that is for the education of children from preschool to high school.
Amazing.
So, anyway.
I mean, it's a
so-
dream Daniel's having, so you know.
It is a dream.
Yeah.
He said he
Yeah.
acknowledges his hair is shorter.
He does. I actually really like that because it kind of means that they can put like a band-aid over the discrepancy between his hair now and
That's it.
what it probably would have been a little bit longer back in the day. But yeah, I like
Yep.
that they've done that. I was going to say that the name Chimera actually works on multiple levels. So there's that Greek monster with that lion, goat, and serpent bits. But Damien Kindler, who wrote the episode, or he did the teleplay anyway, chose it specifically for its alternate meaning, which is a fleeting dream that doesn't last. So it's supposed to be a hint at the dream manipulation. But I think, this is me being over analytical, but I think you could also apply it to Sam and Pete's relationship.
For sure.
Fleeting dream that doesn't last.
Yeah, the titles typically have double meanings.
Yes, and
They
I
can
think
often have
Damien
just
Kindler
one.
is pretty famous for having like these really obscure episode titles where you really have to like dig deep to find the meaning. But when you do, you're like, oh. And the excuse me, the cast and crew all recognized that this was a bit of a different episode. Amanda Tapping's reaction was something like, wow, this is not a Stargate episode.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think even the costume designer called it a Halloween romance rather than sci-fi. And
yeah.
apparently, about this time when they were filming Stargate, Amanda's schedule was like really crazy. And I think David DeLuise said that while he was struggling to keep track of one episode, Amanda would film 3 different episodes in a single week.
Yep.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
Stargate.
you've got IDA who crams in a week's worth of scenes into like a single week.
Yep,
So-
exactly.
So I make a lot of jokes about like, Sam getting laid this episode, but seriously, I actually I mean it. I feel like the guys are always going off and like, getting their moments to shine. And Sam hasn't had that in a long time. So it's nice to see her, getting her groove on, getting out there again.
Yes.
So
There's a lot of Sam-based episodes this season, and I am
Yeah.
definitely into it.
I've been trying to ask myself, why would they say hello to each other like this? And the only thing
they're
I
just
can
playing
think
the
of is that they like to role play, if you know
yeah,
what I
weird
mean.
foreplay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I am convinced that this is not the first time that they have role played. I'm just saying.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, that's an interesting theory. They're doing it quite well, so
Uh-huh.
that's probably a good theory. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, they used the Elements Cafe, which was literally across the street
Yep.
from Bridge Studio.
Oh, yeah, we
That's
saw
it.
that.
Nice and
Yeah.
convenient. And
He is
Sam,
cute, isn't he?
Sam's reference to you know, her ill-fated boyfriends obviously resulted in the episode being informally titled Black Widow Carter.
Yes, it had that as the going title for a long time, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Pete is thinking that that's just made up, and because he doesn't talk about that with his buddy when he's communicating over the phone later on. Oh, she's mentioned something about these people dying. Maybe you can use that, but he doesn't realize. My point is that she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Exactly. He asks her at the very end.
Okay.
Like, he says something like, so that stuff about your ex-boyfriends is true.
Yeah.
Also, they mentioned the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo and Sam saying no. Apparently, there was quite a lot of, I guess, not backlash, but a few questions about this from the fans, because the zoo is quite near to the complex. It's like basically on the doorstep of the SGC.
It's the only zoo in Colorado Springs, and so everyone was thinking that it was a writer's error for not knowing that was there. But the point that Joseph Malazzi swears to this day is that he was making a point about Sam's preoccupation with being underground and working to the point where she doesn't know that there's a zoo in Colorado Springs.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And it was lost on the fans who to this day continue to make fun. Right, exactly. And fans Stargate fans are not known necessarily for they can be a little gullible. Let's just put it this way, because they're so friggin' intelligent.
Has it? Yeah.
They're so intelligent that common sense doesn't always peak first.
The singing of the Stargate theme song.
Sam
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy, here we go.
So I think everyone's probably
they
heard
were
this story.
trying to come up. Is that the one I'm about to tell?
Yeah, go for it.
So on the set, Michael and Amanda Shanks were trying to come up with the MacGyver theme. They couldn't think of it. They're like, how's it go? Because in the script, it just says Sam's humming. And they're like, well, we've got to say something. I've got to sing something. And so they were like, screw it. Just go for broke. Do the Stargate theme. And so they did.
Yeah.
I think that's really great. I think it's
very
funny.
meta.
Yeah, I love
so
it.
meta. She looks like she's trying to like repress a laugh.
Can I just say, right there, where she's like, it's pathetic, and then he goes, oh, isn't it? I love the way he so quickly jumps back to just like kind of have that banter about her relationship, because he does want to know more, and it's just such a cute little fun bit of like weird, awkward flirting, because it's like, ooh, we don't fully understand the boundaries of our relationship sometimes. Like they're there, but then we sometimes have a little bit, and it's like, ooh, this is so awkward now.
It's very awkward. I love how they both acknowledge that it's awkward as well.
It's my favorite thing about these two, is that they've acknowledged like every level of this dynamic over the years, and so they don't know how to deal with it when they get really deep, and it's so funny.
It's one of the charms of SG-1.
I got a question.
Awkward.
Got a question. So do we think that this episode would have been better if Osiris had been hidden from this, and we just kept seeing Daniel's dreams, and we didn't know that like she was just in his bedroom?
Oh, so they kept a secret.
So he's only seeing Sarah, and we're not seeing Osiris. I would have really enjoyed that. So we don't really know for sure until she wakes him up and she says, "How unfortunate for you." I would have loved that, but we wouldn't have had as much with. We wouldn't have had as much with.
That's the only reason. I am not going to complain. Yeah.
Yeah, but from a story perspective, from a reveal perspective, it would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I also like that the explanation for Osiris having the beaming technology kind of ties in with continuity. Like it ties back to when Anubis mind probed Thor in Revelations. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, he shares all of his technology with his underlings.
Like a little bonus.
You did really well this week. Here's some beaming technology. I love that.
Maybe like depending on how good you do, what will depend on the awesomeness of the technology that he shares.
Yeah, exactly. Not something that can exactly take him out, but something that can facilitate his goals. And the Osiris Anubis partnership is one of the few partnerships where it is truly consistent, and one is not incompetent, and the other and not trying to take out the boss. She really does. I mean, she may have those aspirations eventually, but they never come forward. And it's like she clearly does respect him to a degree.
Yeah.
So
I actually really like their partnership.
Overthrow him, does she?
No.
So she knows her place.
She's
She's like, I am
like
a
second in
wench.
command.
These go back. These two go back 10,000 years, if not more.
Yeah.
So. Thank you,
so-
Zapakna.
Jacob just said, in Germany, the title was spoiled once again. The title was Daniel's Dreams.
Those Germans and their Stargate titles.
Honestly.
Oh, I love that.
Jed Ted said, anyone watch the new Wizards of Waverly Place series? I have not, but I've seen little snippets.
David guest stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I watch his podcast.
does.
I like him a
Yeah,
lot.
there you go. I can't stand Disney comedy.
No, yeah, me neither.
It can be a bit cheesy.
It's so cheesy. I mean, the kids,
Yeah.
all the kids, it's just so out of place.
But as a child, Wizards of Waverly Place was banging.
Yeah?
Loved it. Yeah, good time. Had so much fun.
The thing that I hate about the visual effects of the Asgard beam out is they only have the information that's on screen. They only have her torso. They don't have her legs and her feet.
Yes.
And it always irritates me because it's like those are, kind of important to sell the effect. So whatever is in the shot is what gets beamed away, and that's all. So, okay.
Oh my God. So Singing in the Rain, can I just say, I hadn't seen it by this point, and this actually made me finally go and watch it. I went into the store with my nan a few days later, and I picked up Singing in the Rain, and I went, can we watch this? And it's now one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, really?
So thank you,
I've never
Stargate,
cared
for
for
that. I love it.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Evie, when you come
I
over,
know.
we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
I do want to see it. I have like the utmost respect for the actors involved.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
I haven't watched it.
It's such a good time. I honestly, I have the music on my phone. I like to listen to it. So. David's mom's in the chat.
Oh, boy.
Riley and mom say hi, David and girls.
Oh, okay. So my
Hi.
neighbor's dog Riley
this
is
is
over
me.
hanging out. So
Cute.
yeah,
Oh, I
he's
love
an old timer. He's a chocolate lab. Not so chocolate anymore. He's got a white
Hi,
face. So
buddy.
yeah,
Aw.
Riley's a good boy. Riley's a very good boy.
Oh, good boy, Riley.
2 weeks vacation.
Okay,
Damn.
what's kind of interesting is that sort of fans have questioned why Pete would even need vacation time to visit Colorado Springs from Denver because it's only about a 1.5 hours drive.
Well, because
Like,
he
it's
wants
not
to
that
stay
far.
here.
He doesn't
and
want to be
just,
on a
you know,
case.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But he's coming on a bit strong. 2 whole weeks, like Sam's trying to save the planet here. Not today, but most days,
We don't know how long they've been together at this stage, though.
It's been
Look, even
a
she's
few
pushing him away.
weeks,
Even she's
hasn't
like,
it?
chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even she's like, I have to go to work, because that's the problem is that her work-life balance is always leaning more towards work.
Looking into it, even he doesn't buy it. He's so young here.
He's
I
a
know.
wee bear.
Saying you don't believe me. Let's switch gears. Ah, those
He is
puppy dog
cute.
eyes.
He is
Yes.
so cute.
It's Dom all the way through.
Oh.
And Carol. This is an ad lib.
It is an ad lib.
He's
Yeah,
so-
he
yeah.
apparently was like so caught up in the genuine chemistry of the moment that unplanned line just like popped out naturally, and the directors decided.
It's
to put it
really
in.
funny. It's so
It's
charming.
very cute.
I mean, it's Amanda Tapping, so
Yeah,
this
I
would
mean,
not be that
yeah.
hard.
Nah,
Of course, you're getting lost in her eyes. We don't blame you.
I get lost in her eyes. She's so damn beautiful, Like who
Yeah,
wouldn't?
she's stunning.
So I don't think that those kinds of cups were around in the late 80s,
No,
but I'll
good
buy
point.
it. So,
Hey, look, it's a dream.
Oh, the,
Maybe
the
Daniel was
takeaway
sipping
cups
on
Yep.
takeaway
the takeaway
coffees
cups
for a while.
with those special lids.
with the sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only
Yeah.
after the hot coffee lawsuit.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yes, and that was the 90s. Was it in the 90s or in the late 80s?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I really like how smooth this tablet is. Is that weird? Like I just want to touch that tablet so much.
I've got a
does look
replica
very
sitting right
smooth.
next to me. I need to bring it out afterwards.
I want to touch
You
it.
should.
I will.
yes.
I will.
Okay, so a little bit of a science nitpicky moment. So Sarah says that she's dated the tablet, like with carbon dating, which is not very possible because it looks like the tablet is made of some kind of stone. So carbon dating only works on things that were once alive, like wood, paper, bone. You can't really carbon date rocks.
Well, rocks don't
So-
have carbon in them, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
Yeah.
I don't
Dream
know,
Osiris is talking nonsense.
Also, like Daniel says like it's impossible, and I don't know if that's what he's implying or yeah.
So
I was
rocks
assuming it was the
apparently
10,000 years
contain carbon, so I'm checking myself on that. Sedimentary rocks can contain significant amount of carbon. So I suppose,
I know
depending on the rock,
sandstone
it's possible.
definitely does. Yeah, that one just doesn't seem right. Look at her with that cheek. She's so good.
She's
so
great.
good. I love it.
My favorite guest
I
character.
love how irritable Daniel is right here. This is a very much like I can imagine him being pissed at Vala and having this kind of reaction. Like,
I just love how his eyes just dart back and forth because he's not resting. His brain is going on overtime.
Yeah,
he's working at night and during the day.
I love him. Hey, we haven't seen Tilk this whole time. Hey, man, what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I love all this conversation. Yes.
Well, it leads to
Atlantis is coming, guys.
Atlantis.
Exactly.
We've got a reminder. It's coming back. No
Atlantis
Tilk.
is just tapping us on the shoulder.
Yeah.
No.
I love that. Daniel's just like, I don't want to translate the tablet. I want to sleep. This is the one time you're going to get Daniel not wanting to translate something.
And this is when he's starting to figure things out, that this is not necessarily, this is not right.
Yeah.
What I do love about
She's
it
a little bit too understanding.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Osiris, what I love is that she kind of knows, though, to like take it easy. You know, she's like, how do I get him to behave and do exactly what I want? So she's going to take it easy on him and flirt with him. And she's doing, honestly, I love her. Oh, I'm so gutted. This is the end.
She's using Sarah's memories to get 95% of the way there, but she's not anticipating that she can't pull it all, that Daniel's not going to buy all of it. So, because Daniel's not the same person he was when Sarah knew him. So he's much more cynical now, and she's not factoring that in. He's not as bumbling as he was.
Yeah. What is it with Daniel and like all his potential girlfriends and like tablets? You know, that's how like he gets them, you know? Like Vala comes back with a tablet, Osiris is back with a tablet. You know, they're all coming back with tablets.
It's true. That's funny. That's a good point.
It's a good way to get Daniel to talk to you. Here's a tablet, translate it for me. Now I'm gonna flirt.
Ancients love to write on tablets.
Yeah, clearly.
They do love a good tablet.
Now we've driven past this place.
We have. If you keep an eye on the house number and the number plate, it's actually kind of cool because these details are consistent throughout the series. So that same Volvo shows up whenever Sam needs wheels, and we spot it in Ascension and Sight Unseen too. So I think that's kind of cool.
So I want to say something absolutely wild. This episode taught me a lot of random things about the world. So I didn't know that 12 was a dozen.
You didn't know that?
I was like, I think when I first saw this, I think I was like 9 or something.
And you'd never been to a bakery before for donuts?
No, but it's not really a thing in the UK. Like Krispy Kremes wasn't really that big where I was.
Krispy Kremes, but you don't have donuts?
No. That's the first time I ever experienced a dozen donuts. You know, Baker's dozen.
Wow.
Baker's
dozen is 13.
Is it? Sorry. That's what I mean.
Dozen is one extra.
You're right. It is one extra. I forgot that. Yeah, but that's what I mean. I never experienced bakeries doing the dozen thing and then the Baker's dozen. Okay. I never experienced that. So Stargate taught me that term. So thank you, Stargate.
Oh, there we go.
So as a point of interest,
Daniel's
Tilk was pushing a total of 435 pounds or 197 kilograms.
Delicious.
Wow. Jacob says, Daniel looks
really
extra
hot.
Cool with the stubble and shabby look in the dream
Damn
sequences.
right. Stubble him is, Logwood said, how does Nicole buy eggs? A 12-pack of eggs, mate.
A 12-pack of eggs. This isn't. These aren't beers.
I call it a 12-pack. What do you want from me? I also want to say I grew up in a Spanish household where no one said dozen.
Oh, that's true too. But you did use English.
Yeah, but not like that.
Don't you think, David, that Tilk would be the worst sleep technician? He's just like, I don't even know how you've slept up until now with everything that's happened.
Yeah, because this is all new to him. So he's trying to figure things out.
It's like your therapist just being like, wow, no wonder you're depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's it.
Thanks so much. I spent how much money to be told that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this episode was
can dress up.
supposed to, he looks smart as. So this episode was supposed to showcase Sam in a completely different light, and even Amanda described the experience of embracing a feminine, flirtatious side with dresses and heels, which is quite a striking departure from her usual military fatigues and technical
I haven't
dialogue.
seen her in a dress since season 1. It's mental.
Well, she's been wearing skirts.
Yeah.
And this comment up enough, I always think it was just like playful double meaning.
I love
Especially
that.
because the camera starts from below and then
Yep.
goes up.
Well, we don't usually get Carter cleavage. Let's be perfectly frank. So,
Yeah,
we don't.
and she's gorgeous inside and out. She always has been. She still is. So, and it's appropriate. It fits in. But as an actor, I would be nervous too because this is like, I can play that as an actor, you know. But this character is not necessarily always the most comfortable in heels. So, well, when she's in her dress blues, they're in heels. But you know what I mean.
I am glad that they decided to kind of keep Sam in the military gear a lot and didn't like overly sexualize her throughout the show, because I know that was a concern Amanda had at the beginning when they tried to give her skimpy outfits. But I'm sad that in that they kind of like lost the opportunities to give her these moments where she could, you know, really like go all out. So I'm really glad they brought it back, because I remember when Vala came in, I think there was a conversation they had where every week Vala's got a new outfit and you know, Sam's going around with just her military gear. So it's nice to have fun.
The music in this dance scene is a sound-alike version of Glenn Miller's In the Mood, and they changed the melody just enough to avoid paying royalties, but keeping that big band feel.
Wow, okay.
And the band performance is from a group called the Hip Replacements, which makes me laugh. And these scenes were actually filmed at the St. Nicholas and Demetrios Greek Orthodox Church Hall, which was right down the road from Bridge Studios.
There you go.
And those extras weren't random actors. The couple celebrating their 50th anniversary, so Harry and Marge in this episode, were actually executive producer N. John Smith's parents.
Ah, that's
just
it.
celebrated their real-life 60th anniversary.
Oh,
wow, there we go. I knew it was someone, but I never knew who. Thank you, Yvie.
Yeah.
I appreciate that for finally
that's
getting to know.
lovely. That's so sweet.
I thought that it was a really cool detail, and I
This
triple-checked it
episode
just
is
to make
just
sure it was correct.
Hitting all the warm and fuzzies. I've got lots of feelings about this
Peter
episode. I'm
DeLuise.
really loving it. Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
This is magic.
So in the background there is an Anubis statue from one of the motherships.
Nudge, nudge, wink,
I
wink.
think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's exactly what that is right behind them there. So there's an Anubis nod. So.
Need to relax. Never tell anyone to just relax. That's not how it works. You make them relax.
Did you mention Peter DeLuise before? Because I don't think he had anything to do with this episode.
Oh, Peter DeLuise didn't write it. He just directed
No,
it. I'm sorry. I thought he wrote it.
Death Knell. No, it was a story by Robert C. and directed by William.
I was going to say, I didn't
Will
think
Waring.
So Will Waring didn't direct this?
DeLuise DNA.
No, Will Waring directed
I thought Peter directed it.
Peter does Death Knell, like the next episode.
I thought he directed his episode in this. I guess I'm just remembering wrong. So there we go. Continue. Oh, here we go. This is starting to. He's starting to think. Okay, something's up. This is not right. This is not how this goes.
He's like, you're supposed to leave, doesn't he say?
Yeah.
No, he's already said that.
Yeah, that's what he already said.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I suspicious.
Yeah. As a kid, I was like, whoa, what's going on? I was not happy about this
couldn't
pairing.
read between the lines. That's
no.
a
I
good thing
could.
when you're a
I
kid.
just,
Okay.
because by this point I'd seen enough TV because you know my family are responsible. But I was grumpy because I was like, you're supposed to be sleeping with Jack. What's going on?
I just remember considering a shot past my bow for the alphabetized bookshelf. I'm just saying.
Okay, so David DeLuise humorously described this like intimate scenes with Amanda. He said that she was refreshingly direct about their on-screen chemistry, and after shooting this wall scene, the director was ready to move on from another one. To move on to another one, but Amanda famously insisted that they try again. And David DeLuise said he particularly enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's no skin off my nose, I'm sure he's saying so.
And I think it was kind of like, not ironic, but sort of, I don't know, like a bit sad that during this time of filming, David was navigating his own personal challenges. So he talks about being divorced and stuff. And the role sort of came during his own divorce, which was like a really tough period in his life. So I think in his Dial the Gate interview with you, David, he mentioned keeping Pete's boots from the show, like his shoes. And the boots became sort of more than just a costume piece. They sort of helped him stand tall and regain his confidence
It was
during
a
a time
symbol
when
for
he
him.
really needed
That's
it.
exactly right. They
Yeah.
made him stand literally taller, and it made a huge difference in his perception of
Yeah.
himself. This was the beginning of the next phase of his life.
Exactly.
I can see Pete being a bad boy when he was young, and a cop
Yeah.
came across and set him straight. Yeah, well,
Yes.
here we go. Here's the story. Yeah. Adult role models are so important.
I have a couple teachers that I'm never going to forget who really impacted
Yeah.
my life. One of them was my
Yeah, me
religious teacher,
too.
Miss Venn. She is my favorite human being in the world, and she was one of the best teachers. And she made me really invested in philosophy and religion, and I love her for it. So
Yeah, I think Sam can relate to those things, buddy. But he does know that she's in the military, so I don't know why he keeps pushing this,
I know
my
he
job is
just
more
wants
risky
to
than
know.
yours
I think he's doing that thing where he's offering up information, hoping that she offers information back.
Maybe.
Because that's kind of how I talk to people. I tend to talk about myself a bit, hoping that they open
Overshare.
up.
So
Yeah.
it's a cop's job, it's a detective's job to dig. And detectives don't like things that are obscured.
Oh, like people
It makes them
withholding
nervous.
information.
There
Yeah.
is generally a negative reason as to why, and I can completely validly see how this would drive him crazy as he
Yeah.
gets closer to her, because he's used to people leaving things out until they get exposed, and then they start shooting at him.
Yeah.
So this would be a scab that he would keep picking. And I think it ultimately would destroy their relationship had she not revealed it to him in the end. Except
Yeah.
it gets
Yeah.
destroyed for other reasons, the original reasons in the end.
Yeah. I don't know. I find it like he's having like a little bit of a childhood tantrum.
Yeah, I was gonna say
almost.
Yeah,
tantrum. Yeah,
for
He
sure.
kind of like storms off, and he's angry because she won't discuss classified
Yeah.
work, which is quite immature. And like
It
instead
is.
of respecting clear professional boundaries, he tries to make her feel guilty
Yeah.
about following regulations that she's legally bound to uphold.
Yeah.
And I think the manipulation is like particularly jarring because he knows that she's in the Air Force.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there are certainly police detectives out there who are married to people who have higher security clearances than them. But I think deep space radar telemetry, that being the cover story, that would probably, A, it's funny because it's in the story, and B, it's also almost meant to be like, you expect me to believe that? That's your cover story? That's the best you
Yeah.
got? That's clearly not real. So
Yeah,
there's
he
that.
does bring it up a bunch of times. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's obviously just not sitting well with him.
But let me say this in terms of the character. Yeah, he's definitely behaving childish in terms
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
And if he
But that's the
really
thing,
loves
but
her,
people-
he's going to let it go and love her
people-
for her and trust that the Air Force is doing something important with her. She's
Yeah.
not playing games.
People screw up all the time, and people
Yeah.
are allowed to have their bad moments and be immature.
And people
So
get
I-
obsessed
yeah.
with the people that they fall in love with. It
Exactly,
happens
so-
all the time.
I forgive
Yeah.
Pete for this, but it was like not great. But I mean, people can be silly sometimes. So
Mm-mm.
And he kind of acknowledges that in the next episode. You didn't run when I stalked you.
yeah.
So because it just
Yeah.
let off a bomb in fandom.
Oh,
You know,
I
what's funny?
did that.
We haven't
Totally
seen
did.
Jack like at all. We only had him for
The
that
elevator.
scene
Yeah.
with
The
Sam, which is
elevator.
amazing. 10 out of 10. I'm glad they brought him in for that.
Yeah,
But,
he's in
yeah.
the briefing room in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the heist later.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yes. But yeah, going back to the whole Stalker Pete thing, so yeah, the fandom sort of immediately dubbed him that, and there was a lot of heated online debates, and I think that the character's arrival completely divided viewers. Like David Deluise said that he was caught off guard by this response. Like someone on set warned him about, shippers who don't like Stalker Pete, and he had no idea what they meant. And he defended Pete's actions as natural for a detective whose girlfriend was obviously hiding something, which is sort of what we said. And
Yeah.
to the critics, he sort of simply asked, "Don't you want Sam to be happy?" After
No,
all
they
these
want Sam to be happy
seasons?
with Jack.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have
Which I
got
don't disagree with, but yeah.
you've got a fandom who have taken these characters in for 6.5 years now as if they are family to them.
Yes.
There
Yes.
are sections of fandom that I cannot communicate with because they cannot. It's not that they cannot separate fantasy from reality. It's that they claim to know, to perceive the actor's intent more than someone who has met them, because they intuit the performance and the actors and the characters as these images in their mind that are perfect and beautiful and unrealistic.
You're good. We hear you.
You can? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not true. So it's often true, but it's not always
yeah.
true.
Well,
And
I like her dating Pete because it's a direct fallout of because we just had that of Grace, and
Yes, it is.
it's important for Sam to try and move on. And realistically, right, if anyone was having this kind of problem where they were in love with someone that they couldn't be with, they would try to move on eventually.
yeah.
And this is Sam trying to pave her own life and, not focus on Jack. But she works with him every day, so it's very difficult. And so I think it's really important and realistic for Sam to try to find love in other places.
It does add more dimensions to her character.
Exactly.
Otherwise, she's just sort of this work drone. But, she's also a person, and, she also wants to find that, that love connection with somebody. So
Yeah.
Jed Ted, speaking of Carter humming the SG-1 theme, Remy Zero has a cameo on Smallville where they play the show theme at Homecoming.
Yeah, season finale, I think it
that's
was.
cool.
wow.
Remy Zero appears, and I think they had to get in there and then immediately zip out because they didn't have time to be on the show.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool because it was the theme song of the show, so they. I love that. I love when shows insert that. What We Do in the Shadows did it recently where they were playing the piano and they did the theme for What We Do in the Shadows, and then it tied into the actual theme coming in for the
There you
intro.
go.
So some fans have pointed out that this wasn't Sam's first experience with stalkish behavior. So obviously we've got Nareem and
Nareem!
Orlin.
The problem
Nareem
is
was
Sam is
stalking?
beautiful.
Well, not really, but
Nah,
he
he's
did
just
do that
weird.
creepy thing where he had
computer?
her
Yeah.
voice. Yeah.
Just overbearing men. And you know what's really funny actually is I feel like people nowadays are starting to realize that behavior is kind of not cool. But I feel like back when
Yes.
Stargate was airing, that kind of behavior was almost seen as sweet sometimes. But now as time's gone on, people have gone, that probably makes these people uncomfortable.
It's
So it's
very.
like-
I
Yeah,
mean,
we are
it's
seeing this with a different lens.
Yeah.
We are
it's
exactly.
a clear
exactly.
break of trust.
Yes.
And the whole thing about people, synthesizing other people's voices for their own ends, that's only going to start to accelerate.
I can't imagine
agreed.
what people are using those things for.
There
So
are
I'm not
free
gonna talk
resources
about it.
online where you
Yeah.
provide it 2 minutes of sound bites, and depending on the voice, it can sound very convincing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess what you don't know can't hurt you. If it's used just in their own homes, whatever, man. I wouldn't care
Yeah.
if someone took, my audio and did that. So as long as they're not profiting off of it, if they're using it for
there's
their
a
own
fine line.
for their own personal some kind of, home security system or whatever, if they want to use my voice, I think that's a little odd, but fine. I don't care. It's not going to be upset about it. Not that I'm giving
David,
anyone
can
any
I use you
ideas or
to use
something.
For my voicemail.
Jeez.
So some people think that there's a bit of a continuity issue here. So Carter says that the tranquilizer darts can penetrate Gorbald shields, which is exactly how they take down Osiris. But back in the Nox, I think we specifically saw that darts couldn't get through the
Yep,
shields.
they were too fast.
So,
Only arrows
yeah.
could go through because they were slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we just assume at this point that the SGC has improved their dart technology
Slowed down their
after that
darts.
experience.
I wonder if they're. I wonder if it's a tritium tip.
I've got a
Ah,
complaint to make quickly about what we
Okay.
just saw there, which is a little goof, which is when Sam went to go close the box with the stuff in it, the padding inside wasn't cut out at the top to
Oh.
fit around everything. So she tries to close it, it doesn't completely close, and it does my
That's-
head in every time.
That's like with Tilk with the crystal skull. It
Yeah.
doesn't quite
Yes.
fit into
Yeah.
the box either.
That's
I wish
exactly right.
props would just cut it out.
So this
He's sleeping, yeah, so funny.
surveillance van interior was actually built in the Stargate embarkation room at Bridge Studios, I believe.
Okay.
Wow.
Just the empty spot there. Just put in a
Yeah.
box and did it. Hey, that's
Yeah.
Why
any
not?
port in a storm.
Well, it's a lot of empty space. So
Yeah,
why not
this is
utilize
really
it?
like, okay, dude, come on.
Yeah, bruh,
Yeah.
they are doing
you,
a
you could be
stakeout.
arrested for this if they find out that you're doing
Yes.
this. Their
Yeah.
federal clearance exceeds yours.
This is adorable. He's so genuinely excited about embracing this like classic cop stakeout.
He's
tradition.
watched too much TV.
I know.
I love him so
Piece
much.
just gets crushed over the donuts. It's like kind of hilarious, but also oddly endearing.
Eat your donuts, Tilk. Don't let them go to
Osiris has
waste.
entered
Yeah,
stage
don't let them
left.
make you feel shameful.
I want donuts now. I actually thought about this
So do
episode,
I.
and I ate donuts earlier because I was like, oh, I know there's going to be donuts.
I can always go for a donut. I love
Yeah.
donuts.
I love them a little too much. Gotta stay away.
Yeah, me too. My office is located near a bakery that I really like, and I have to actively stop myself from going there daily.
I'm
So-
not close enough to bakeries.
So, question: How did Pete find her? Because
I think he followed her.
He's
in
following
her
the whole
car, so
time,
she
but-
drove to
But she would've
Daniel's
driven to
house
the
in her
SGC.
car.
No,
Yeah, I
I
doubt
think
that.
maybe he was just. Yeah, I don't know.
That's my point.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point, actually. I
I'd
didn't
hate to
really
think he
about
like
it
put a
that way.
tracking device somewhere on her.
Inside of her clothing. That's the or
Yeah.
in her
I
purse.
thought you were
That's the
gonna
only
say
thing that I could.
inside
But
of
she
her.
wouldn't be carrying. She wouldn't be carrying her purse. So
Oh God,
No.
no.
I don't get it.
No.
I guess you just got to buy it.
Yeah.
Dan Ben. I never watched Smallville. I mean, it's
Banger.
fine. I've only
I love
seen
it.
the first 5 seasons.
I've seen it
So-
all. I like it.
Only.
I just don't like that every single thing is a mutated person because they got hit by kryptonite. It's just like,
And
okay.
every
you
single
know.
episode is only one word in the title.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, how much of Daniel is Daniel in control?
I think it's
At this
now pretty
point.
in control. Like he
Ooh.
completely gets it.
guys, this is like the first subtle hint. Well, another subtle hint towards the ancient city being in another galaxy, because like a
Yeah.
standard Stargate address only needs 7 symbols. If you're dialing out from the home galaxy.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Oh, that's a good point.
yeah.
I suspect they
Oh.
meant the 7th to be the home symbol, though.
Maybe.
Because if they're like there's 6 of them, you know, that's not a gate address. Except it is. Oh, here we go. I was
Honestly, though-
surprised that Osiris would kill him.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
she's
also
probably just
surprised
going to
that
make him pass out, but I
Daniel-
guess not.
Sleeps like a psychopath. I didn't say that earlier, but who the hell sleeps on their bedding like that?
Yeah.
So-
Also, the bed in the like the way it's positioned in the room is just really odd to me.
Because in
It's
like
not up
diagonal.
against a wall. It's like at a
That's what
weird
Sam's was in the
angle.
same position as well. I was going to make the same complaint. Why is your bed not up against a wall? These people, honestly.
Oh.
Hey, that thing's back. We haven't seen that
Yes,
weapon in forever.
absolutely. The Ashrak ring.
Yeah.
Yep.
So apparently this action sequence that's coming up was filmed in Edinburgh Street in North Burnaby, and the location manager Lynn Smith bragged about the fact that they exploded a van on the street for this scene coming up, and they had like the fire department and the police on standby.
Oh, for
Amazing.
sure. Absolutely.
And I think they just used some dude's house, like it was, I don't know if he was a fan or whatever, but the scouts picked the house. It was like newly renovated, and the guy just being pure Canadian's like, yeah, sure, you can explode a van outside my new house.
Yeah, why is that?
Honestly.
Reasons, Pete. Hashtag reasons. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I remember Sarah Gardner filling up gasoline. Let's just
That's
shoot at
what I was
that.
thinking, yeah. No! Tilk's donuts!
Oh yeah, they're nice and extra crispy now.
They're toasted
Yeah.
donuts now.
What a cool
Oh,
shot.
Oh, you
Haha.
weren't paying attention, Osiris.
Typical Gould arrogance. So these were the
Honestly.
shots that were released from the episode long before the episode aired.
Oh, like teaser.
Yeah, promotional photography. But I didn't make the connection that they were putting her down.
So with Osiris gone, I think that marks the 11th major Gorwall taken down by SG-1. And it's also the second episode in a row featuring a host being freed, because we had Kiana in Fallout.
That's true.
Yeah.
Successfully freed.
God, this is not boding well for Sam, because like her work buddies are witnessing her boyfriend being a bit of a stalker. They're probably just like, this guy's being a bit of a bear.
Your friends do not recommend.
No. Like if somebody did this to one of my friends, I'd be like, honey, cut him out, or like set some damn boundaries.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to be explained everything.
No, he doesn't. Thank you.
Oh, here we
I love this. I'm devastated that this is the end, but I love this.
Yep.
Because she deserves to be free of this. It's only been a few years,
Yeah.
but still, a few years too many.
At least we get this scene.
Yeah, I'm glad we got closure.
And I remember
yeah.
being sitting on the sofa in the living room watching this and being really excited that we're finally getting this.
Well, I hope that the Air Force sets her up with some, counseling, because she's going to need
Yeah.
a lot of help.
Yep. And she's going to be signing a lot of NDAs.
I was gonna say.
Yes, she
At least
is.
now she fully knows what he was doing and why he disappeared.
Yeah. Can you imagine? My Time as Osiris.
A memoir.
A memoir by Sarah Gardner, PhD.
I swear it's fiction, guys.
Yeah. Wow.
I would have loved to see her go to like Atlantis on a little, like brief little stint.
I had her as part of the Segway 1 expedition in Stargate Oblivion, the 6 books that we wrote.
Oh, of
So,
course you
along with
did,
Alec
yeah.
Coulson and Tom
Oh,
O'Pennicott
Alec
as
Tomo!
third. Yep. And a few others. Yep.
Hilo, my boo.
Yep. He's coming back pretty soon here on
so
Oh,
excited.
cool.
Dial the Gate. Yep.
You've locked him down.
I have. He was the one who wanted to come back. So,
Oh,
this is good.
Who took that picture though?
I
Yeah,
don't
I did
know,
wonder that,
but
but I
I
guess they got an
found
old
it
couple to do it.
online and I gave it to David. So I've made him another one and put it in a red frame, and so he's got that.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lived. Good job.
Okay, so 11C9
Uh-oh.
is like non-existent.
Oh, it
So
doesn't exist?
There is
Okay.
no Section 11 in the real National Security Act
It's
of
the Stargate
1947.
section.
Yeah. There's also no Stargate, so
Yeah.
No. This actually brings me to the thought that I had, which leads into the script that I've written for Nicole to read. But I always imagined that the SGC had like this cheesy orientation video called Section 11 C9 and U.
Just imagining a separate orientation video with
That I
that.
would show to civilians who stumble onto the truth. It
Amazing.
would probably have someone like Walter narrating.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
there'd be like a special section on dating SGC personnel, what you need to know, specifically for folk like Pete.
During every transition between scenes of the video, it'd be like, and we're walking this
that's
way.
right. This way. See you on the other side.
See you on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Both Amanda and David DeLuise raved about their on-screen chemistry, and
Yeah.
Amanda called him charming and funny, and mentioned that they do walks together to rehearse lines.
Oh.
And David DeLuise praised Amanda's generosity, noting that unlike many long-term series stars who dismissed guest actors, she was fully engaged and present, which I thought was really sweet.
'Cause she's the nicest person in the world.
Consummate professional.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Damn. I'm excited to read whatever this is out after the episode is done, Evie. So feel free to send that to me over Facebook or something, and then we can.
I have
do
emailed
that.
it to you.
Oh, thank you.
And if you want to hear what we're talking about, go to the live
to YouTube.
version of this episode on YouTube and search for Chimera on Wormhole Extremists. That was Chimera, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Woo woo. Hold on, I'm trying to get it up now.
Okay.
And we're walking this way. Okay, right. I'm scared. I'm scared, Yvie. When you oh no, oh my god, what is the okay.
Someone's not come back. Someone's still missing.
I'm sorry. I was so busy
She's
looking
been
at this
distracted.
thing. Hold on. I'm back.
There we
Hold
go.
on.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
sorry, I've got to look at this now. Okay. Evie. Why are you okay.
I can read it if you don't feel comfortable.
Should we go through our reviews first, or
Happy.
is it appropriate to do it right now?
Should I just do it right now? Just get it out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get it out
I
of the
think
way.
do it right now, but you gotta be peppy and slow.
Okay, peppy and slow. Okay,
Those are
good,
two
good.
opposite things.
I know it is. I know.
Okay. Welcome to section 11C9 and you. I'm your host, Nicole Rodriguez Galdo. Did you just edit this?
Yes.
Okay. Has a family member or special someone referenced section 11C9? Why is my camera not working?
I don't know, but it's not.
Hold on. I'm ruining the fun. My computer's being silly. Hold on. I want this to go right. There we go. Got it back. Okay.
Start
Has
over.
a family member or special someone reference section 11C9? Do they work strange hours and occasionally sleep talk in languages they never studied? They may be an affiliate of the top secret Stargate program. Before we get to those pesky confidentiality contracts, here's what you need to know. In 1928 in Giza, Egypt, archaeologists uncovered an ancient device capable of instantaneous transportation to other planets by means of a subspace wormhole. Yes, you heard that right. While you've been watching reality TV, your loved one has been visiting actual other planets. Don't worry, this is perfectly normal government activity. The United States Air Force has been operating this program under Cheyenne Mountain for years. Those deep space telemetry cover stories, not so much.
Wow.
Coming up after the break, when they joke about dead exes, is your partner actually a Black Widow? And our popular segment, so your friend ascended to a higher plane of existence. Now what? Remember, disclosure of this information is punishable by life imprisonment, but don't worry, we have lovely facilities. Amazing.
On Other Worlds. Did you
Oh,
write
man.
that, or did AI?
I wrote most of it, and then the AI filled in some of
Oh,
the gaps.
man.
That was fantastic.
Jeez, very
I
well
really enjoyed
done.
that. Okay, so what are we rating the episode, guys? Whew.
Great question. So, I have not hidden the fact that Anna Louise Plowman is my favorite guest star.
Yes.
It may have something to do with the fact that she looks just like my mother when my mother was young. So there may be something to that. But I've
The money
always
issues.
maybe, but I've always adored the character.
Yeah.
And her integrity and her strength, even though it's a ghoul using her as a puppet for the most of the time that we've communicated with her. And then on top of that, Osiris has always been a badass. I've just always loved her. So the fact that she's in this episode and that half the story is about her makes it great for me right there. On top of that, I was a huge fan of David's performance. The episode's pace really maintains itself really well. For me, this one is a 4.
Okay.
And I've got a replica of the tablet.
So shiny.
You do.
So, yeah.
I want to touch it. It
awesome.
looks like it feels really nice.
It's nice and hefty. So they
That's
did
very
a really great job. Yeah, it's obsidian. So
Ah,
Yeah.
I love obsidian.
there you go.
Dark like my soul.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I buy that. Totally buy it.
So I guess I'll go next because I think I've settled on what I want. So
Sure.
I think I'm going to give this one a 5. I think that Sam didn't really get to shine very much in Grace. Like she shone, but I feel like the script
She shone.
was yeah, she shone. But I think it was okay. I feel like Amanda did amazing, but I wish that she got to do more. And so I really loved that we got to see Sam having her feminine side come out more and be able to do stuff off the base and be a normal human for 5 minutes. So yeah, I think that it's lovely. I think Pete is all right. And I really love seeing Osiris again. And Daniel and Osiris have great chemistry. So I just love that dynamic. And Tip
Absolutely.
and Jack were really funny in this
Yeah.
episode. I appreciate them
For
a
the
lot.
scenes
So
that
yeah,
they got.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5. I think it was important to the character's development. So
Yes, well, I like that we are giving Sam a little bit more dimension. As I mentioned in the stream, you know, she's very work orientated, and I like that they've given her a little bit more depth. And, you know, someone, I hate to mention age, but, you know, of course she'd be wanting, you know, to eventually find, you know, the perfect person. And the person that she's admired for so long obviously is Jack, and they can't be together because of the military guidelines. So, you know, she has to go beyond that. And I think it's only natural that she would, you know, take this opportunity from her brother and just see where it leads. I do like, I love David DeLuise. I don't hate Pete. I'm not one of those Sam and Jack shippers who's like totally against Pete. And
Yeah,
I
same.
So
said
you're not
this
totally
to-
gone off the reservation. Okay.
No,
There
no.
we go.
And I said this to David DeLuise,
Yeah.
and he said, "Are you sure you're a Jack and Sam shipper?" And I was just like, "Yes." I
Aw.
don't hate Pete. And I've read a lot of fan fiction where people make him seem like some abusive, manipulative person, but he's not. I think he's a sweet guy at heart.
People
But
make mistakes.
I don't think
yeah,
he's manipulative.
I think
Yeah.
I don't think he's manipulative either. But I think I don't know, it's something to do with him being a cop and having this whole sort of hero complex, I think, and you know, just not understanding what Sam does for a living.
Yeah.
And she doesn't need rescuing. You know, she can rescue herself. And
Princess Leia.
exactly, exactly. So I think I'm going to give this one a 4. I do quite
Okay.
like the episode, but it's not, you know, my favorite episode.
Uh,
But
I-
I don't
I would have
hate it.
probably left this at a 4, but I honestly had such a good time this episode, and I learned so many cool new things that I didn't know before. And
Mhm.
also, this episode did impact me a lot as a child growing up. As I just said, I learned loads of weird little facts. So,
You
yeah.
know what a dozen is.
yes, know what a dozen is. And Singing in the Rain. So,
And Singing in the Rain.
There's
So
nothing wrong with that.
4 and a
Aw.
5.
You know what? A lot of people can't say that they have any takeaways from TV. So you've had 2 takeaways from 1 episode. That is
I
pretty
know.
massive.
God, Stargate's had such an impact.
Yeah.
So we have Anthony with this one as a 4 for me, Candy Mitch a 5, Stuart Miller a 5, Jacob 5 chevrons. 2 interesting storylines that cleverly come together at the end. Pete is hard to digest, but being played by David DeLuise is a saving grace. Yeah, I like that it's a very romantic episode. Lots of like the history of the relationships. It's all very interesting.
Yeah.
Gecko Fett, I'm rating this a 5. Robin Christensen, I rate this a 5. Without Pete, and a 4 with Pete. He. So, a 5.
Jeez.
We've got Jed Ted 6 chevrons. Lockwatcher, this is a 5. While Stalker Pete is a little disturbing, the scenes with Carter are having fun are great. A bit of a bottle show, but nice to have closure on the Osiris story. Anna drop
Yep.
dead gorgeous. Yes. Dan Ben 5 out of 7 chevrons, and I believe that is it.
There you
So
go.
yeah,
Good stuff.
fun on a bun.
On a
Well,
bun.
Fun on a bun.
now we've got something a little less
Fun on a donut.
fun on a baker's dozen. So, I guess we're
Sometimes
gonna.
y'all just, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, David.
All
Sorry.
right. So next
moving on to
we
Death Knell.
have, we
Yeah,
do.
which is it's fun on a bun in a different way. It's not as fun. It's quite dark, but good. You know.
They were really kind of going for broke in terms of let's make a really bad situation out of the Tauri Tok'ra alliance, and I guess were there some Jaffa on this base?
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
have
there
beef
were,
with this
absolutely.
episode. So this is the episode that I was really. I think I've complained about this episode before when we've talked about the Tok'ra storyline.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to tearing this one.
Is this the one where it ends with the Tok'ra walking away?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and the free Jafar.
Okay.
I'm gonna tear it a new one.
Yeah.
Before we start, Rock Luther said they gave Chimera 5 out of 7. It is a confusing reference for Atlantis, a great place of great power mentioned, and other makes Atlantis more powerful than Visu Ban, which makes me think Atlantis was built after the plague broke out. David, can you confirm?
Atlantis
So Visu
existed. Atlantis existed before the plague.
Yeah.
It is inferred. This is not canon, but I have had conversations with the executive producers that Ayana and leaving Atlantis, leaving the Pegasus Galaxy for the Pegasus Galaxy, Ayana had something to do with that. So Atlantis already existed because Atlantis is leaving. So that's about the same time that the Dakara superweapon was fired. So, 10,000 years ago.
Oh, completely forgot that that's what happened at that time. Oh, damn.
It was
Damn.
designed to reseed life in the Milky Way.
That's very Halo.
Well,
That's
there you go.
That's the entire storyline of Halo. I love it. So
All right. So
let's go.
Death Knell.
Woo woo.
Let's go, folks. In 5, 4, 3. Welcome back to the Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Yvie.
Hello.
And Nicole.
Hello.
And we were on a previously on from season 6, Allegiance.
The really hot Tok'ra.
Yeah, we are.
So he's gorgeous. Every time I see him, I just love him. I love his face.
He's very cute. So this episode apparently takes place about 1 month after the events of Evolution Part 2.
There you
And with the Alpha site,
Yes.
Peter DeLuise explains that they established this planet we're about to be on as the new Alpha site to create mystery around how it was compromised. And as he put it, if they'd used the original site, the answer would be too obvious because, you know, Jonas had that spiky thing in his head,
Yep.
and of course Anubis knows about it. So
Right.
instead of using a new location that gets attacked, they created an actual mystery to solve. And this was written and directed by Peter DeLuise, or as my notes say, written by Peter DeLuise.
I really like this episode, but I'm really not looking forward to the outcome. I think that I don't know why the writers decided to go this way with the Tok'ra, and I would love to know more.
Oh,
about the
I have an answer to
decision-making.
that. I have an answer to
Amazing.
that.
Good.
Are those
'cause I got
crystals
beef.
in the refrigerator?
It kind of look like it.
It looks like a refrigerator. Probably not. And I'm guessing this is
Probably
the
just a
same
display cabinet with
metal building as was in
With the little
Prodigy.
bugs. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
would make sense. It'll
The
be just be like made by the
bugs that
military,
that
and they just
go around.
churn them out.
We sold that at PropWorks.
The little device.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's designed for the modified TERs, or as I like to call
Yeah.
them, TERs.
Turds.
Turds,
The good
you're
old
such a
TERs.
tur.
Right.
Maybe. I love this. Have you not had your morning
Aw.
coffee? Oh,
Oh boy.
Oh no, he gave up coffee for his symbiote.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that would really
So
piss me
cute.
off.
so cute.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'd be overpowering that symbiote.
That's so sweet.
So,
Ooh.
Jacob's comment about not talking with Sam enough is kind of clever foreshadowing for this, you know, goodbye that we have later on. So it's one of those like subtle parent-child moments that makes their relationship feel really real. And critics of this episode especially loved Carmen.
Yeah.
And I think the Starburst magazine reviewer mentioned that this was one of Jacob's best materials in ages.
Yeah.
Carmen doesn't get enough love.
How
Carmen
dare
needs
people
all
not
the
love him
love.
enough?
Yeah.
I'm gutted that he's gone.
Yes, me too. So this episode establishes the existence of the beta site, as mentioned.
Yep.
And in previous episodes, There But For the Grace of God and Point of View, the term beta site was used by alternate reality versions of Stargate Command.
Yep.
And talking about, you know, the title being translated into different languages, it's actually the French that gave this one away. Their title translated to The End of the
French.
Union.
The end of the Union. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Damn.
So it gives away that ending.
That is. I love that it's like the Germans are usually the ones that give it away, and then for once it was
Yes.
France. Like that's.
I know.
brilliant.
I know. I was also surprised.
Honestly, that's that's great.
I
France
wish I knew that last
the
week
team.
when I had the French on, but yes.
Yeah.
Because they were
Oh,
were
yes, you
very
did.
proud of themselves about how the French translations for episodes were either adding something or at least not taking away from information in the show. But I think the end of the Union
this was doing
qualifies.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was doing both. It was adding and taking away.
I'm actually really excited to watch this. I don't know how like I don't know what to say. I'm it's such an enjoyable episode. I kind of want to just sit here and just stare at it. The last time I watched this was I was going through a baking spree of just baking loads of things, and I put
Oh.
season 7 on just because I wanted to, and I watched it from beginning till end just because I felt like it because I hadn't seen it in a while.
Oh.
And while I was baking like cakes and cinnamon buns and cookies. I gained a lot of weight that week.
Jeez.
Worth it. I'm excited. Oh, I love when it's like on its side, that whole I love when they have to find a solution to getting out of a pickle when the gate's on its side. It always makes me laugh.
So it's underneath, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they
Yes,
take a
it's
ladder with them, don't they,
underneath.
to climb out?
They do.
So basically, the next time they dial in, this map is going to be atomized.
Yes.
That is probably a good way of looking at it, because I'd put it down as being kind of like a bit of a goof, because if the unstable vortex of the knocked over Stargate dug a foxhole, then the edges of the crater would be sort of like molten from their contact, but yet there's still stones there. And also, where is the Malp? But that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that
disappeared.
it's molten. I think that it's just deleted. You think that it's carterized?
Yeah, I kind of
I
thought
think
it
the
would
main
be.
reason that I would actually kind of think that as well is only because we saw it happen with 100 days.
Yeah,
But I guess because it was a meteor and it was on fire and there was a whole lot of things
maybe.
happening. Maybe it was just, yeah.
I never
Just our
buy the
assumption.
depth of that pit with.
Neither do I. It looks so
with-
shallow.
Yeah, I mean, come on here. We know that thing is at least the length of the ramp.
Yeah.
So there was kind of a bit of a production goof, sort of, because the Stargate is facing downwards, but we saw the event horizon from the top, so it would look different from that side, would it not?
The event horizon? You mean the puddle effect itself?
Yeah, we saw it from behind, and it still
I
looked
think-
like it was the front, even though the Stargate's facing downwards.
Doesn't it always look like the same either side, though?
The
don't
puddle
know.
effect itself, unless they're deliberately trying to let people see what's on the other side, like in Children of the Gods when O'Neill's walking up with the Kleenex box.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty straightforward either side.
That you can clearly see that hole is so shallow, by the way. Like,
Exactly.
you can
Yeah,
see
yeah, it
it's just
is.
like... Oh.
But in Vancouver, they're really weird about digging, which is the same thing that happened
fair.
in Doppelganger
Yeah.
when Ronan was being buried. It's like, this is the best you got? Do a
Nah.
visual effect then or something.
This episode was inspired by the logging that was actually taking place at Mount Seymour Provincial Park, which was previously the Alpha Site filming location for Allegiance. So Peter DeLuise suggested that they do an episode where the thing is blowing up and all the trees have gone down. So he apparently wrote the episode very fast to take advantage of this filming
Wow.
location.
So this was a logging site.
That's
It
awesome.
was a logging site.
I did not know that. Uh-oh.
Oh, so eerie, so creepy. I love that.
Coal body
And-
parts.
Yeah. They
And,
finally got an explosion big enough to kill him.
yeah. Joe Malozzi also kind of pointed out a bit of a fun inconsistency. So the Alpha Site after the self-destruct shouldn't be one giant crater, not just it should have been one giant crater, not just a bunch of small fires. So he kind of acknowledged that creating a massive crater would have been very expensive and for what was essentially just a background setting. So and
Yep.
obviously you said that Vancouver has an issue with digging, so that makes sense.
I can imagine they have issues with giant holes.
You can
so-
only do
Yeah.
so much.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, this guy. Oh, he's so tasty.
Jeez.
I love him. Every time I see him, isn't he also Thor in
Yes.
in Thor's hammer?
So it's Mark Gibbon.
Mark
Yeah.
Gibbon
So,
did play the
he
the
was,
holographic Thor.
yeah.
Correct. Human image of Thor in Thor's hammer and
Yeah.
Thor's chariot, I think.
He is just so fine, like I love his beard, I love his hair, I love his jawline. It's fantastic. There are some very attractive men in the show at the moment. Damn.
You know, they hire actors.
I know, it's great. Like they please my eyes. So Ah,
You and
So,
your female gaze.
I can't help it.
Female
The
gaze.
beautiful man.
So Hammond mentions the newly created SG-21, so that obviously confirms
Yeah.
the existence of 18, 19, and 20 as well.
I apologize for the mowing outside of my door. Everyone
Can't hear the mowing. You are good.
You can't. No, you can't because what you're hearing from me is compressed. They can.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Oh.
I'm really glad that Jacob's injuries is a log over his leg and nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh no, one little cut.
Ouchie, ouchie.
I love that Sam
Managed to
has the
save the
good
guy.
chip on her, while
She
Jacob
does.
had the not so great one. So it's
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Are we gonna have a flashback here pretty quickly?
Yes, I think we are.
Yes. Mm.
Your baby girl.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gekko said they cannot hear the mowing, so you are good, David.
Oh, perfect. I appreciate it.
I just have so many feelings on this episode. Oh, look, he's carrying that woman. Oh, I wish he would carry me like that.
Is it a Tok'ra woman?
I think she might be an SGC woman. I couldn't. I was not. I was
Interesting
looking at him.
outfit,
I'm not gonna
though.
lie. Yeah. This episode is just so. I feel so sad about this episode that I'm gonna find it really hard to talk over some of the scenes here. I'm just feeling quite weirdly emotional. You know,
Why?
I'm a bit devastated.
The
I'm
end
feeling a
of the
bit devastated.
alliance.
You know, we're about to say goodbye to the Tok'ra, basically. So
Oh, yeah. It is a loss. For
yeah,
sure.
I feel like I'm already in mourning. You know, it's weird.
There's a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's only semi-effective in its current configuration.
Yeah.
It'll be a few moments to get the coordinates from the Navi computer.
I like this episode because Sam is just so badass during the episode. You know, the
Oh,
way that
yeah.
she's just gone like full survival, and she's just such a force. Yeah.
More than you used in the pit in Evolution Part 1.
I was gonna say, yeah, that explosion was not big enough, but
Yeah.
the other one was.
Yeah.
Hey, silent. It's been a while.
I think they go after, they go and get, I forget what kind of weapon they fire at him, but even that's not enough.
No, it's not.
Doesn't she like manage to get a little missile, a mini little missile thingy, and that's not enough?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is Nell's Lennison?
Nell's
Trying to say the
Lennison?
name.
Okay.
Lennison playing Major Green. So this is his only SG-1 role, but he actually does return to the franchise as Captain Holland in the Atlanta season
interesting.
3 episode Phantoms.
It's a very Swedish name he's got, so.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So many pretty people this episode.
Jeez.
I feel like you say that every episode.
Nah, but like everyone's really pretty this episode. I like this. I actually think this is really cool. They were doing like a full investigation here, because
Yeah.
it's like these people are just trying to survive, and they've like saved each other's lives and gotten out of that situation.
Standard procedure
Like,
when a command is lost.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so unfortunately, it's weird the way he was like, "Oh yeah, am I like in trouble?" It sucks that you can go through something so difficult and lose so many people and try and save as many people as you can, and you're still questioned about your loyalties. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's standard procedure. It's just sad.
Well, in this situation, that it
He's not
has to
getting
be
interrogated,
because,
though.
well, they need to figure out who revealed the coordinates.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I don't think they truly find out in the end.
I don't think that they do. And I think that that's
No.
one of the reasons that the Tok'ra and the Jaffa walk, because they don't like how they're being treated. Because if it isn't our guys, it's one of them. And if it's one of
Yeah.
them, we can't figure out who, they leave. So,
So James Hoare from The Companion spoke about how Jack's sort of silence about Sam's fate throughout this episode speaks volumes about his fear, especially evident in this scene here when he just responds with a single word, yeah, when Tilk suggests that the tracks might be Sam's.
Yeah. I really want. I like. I was
we'll
thinking
jump
about
off
them
that
looking at the.
bridge.
Yeah, I was thinking about the footprint, and when like when they were on Keb with Braytak, And Braytac was like, oh yeah, her arms were bound, and then this, and then no, her arms weren't bound, and then this and this and this, and like able
Oh,
to
Yeah.
that's
figure out all
right.
the
Yeah, you can
details.
tell. Yeah.
And I was just thinking about like, I'd love to see that energy
It's
again
a
from Teal'c and
CSI
Jack.
Braytac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
really
is a
like seeing
flashback in a
Jacob
second.
and Daniel together. I think they've got great chemistry as well. I think Jacob's got chemistry with everyone. I feel
He
like he didn't
does.
get enough scenes with Teal'c though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Oh, here we go. Flashback. And both this guy and the doors get holes in them.
Yes, they
That
do.
guy is also very adorable, but more adorable. He seems young.
Just looks like he's just sort of new.
Yeah,
and
he's just a
just
new
He's very
cadet
young, yeah.
doing his best.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to get shot. He's about to become Swiss cheese. Whoa.
Right
Poor
through
guy.
him, and somehow
you,
didn't hit Sam and yeah.
I
Yeah,
will say there's one thing
conveniently.
that annoys me. Those doors, right? Not consistent with how his hands are up when he's shooting. You know, the 4 shots on each door are below the window,
Mhm.
and that's not where his arms were. His arms would have been like part way up in the glass. So
Right.
not consistent
Okay.
height for his shooting arms.
Just shooting arms.
Yeah, that right there, I'm called Goofgate. That's a Goofgate.
So I was going to mention about the prototype weapon being like the modified TER, which David mentioned at the start. So it was obviously going back, it was originally designed to make the Ritu disappear. And I think the art director, James Robbins, designed the piece that attached to the existing TER gun with a new bit that lights up when snapped onto the weapon. And I think, according to James, the weapon technology works by targeting the reanimation device inside of each of the super soldiers.
That's really
And the
cool.
weapon was
Yeah.
designed to emit an energy signature that counteracts the signal from the box that keeps the drone's flesh animated. And obviously, the weapon will become important in later encounters with the Anubis forces.
Candy Mitch said as he was farther back behind the door. I think his height would have it's still the height of the door.
Right.
I don't care how far away you are. So unless he was crouching, you know, then that's the only excuse I'll give him.
Mm.
I'm sorry, guys, about the dog barking. So
I can't hear it.
You can't hear
They might be able
Riley?
to hear it on the stream.
Oh,
right?
he's barking outside, so.
Oh, buddy. Is he
Yeah.
barking at the lawnmower?
No, there's other dogs in the neighborhood that are
Oh.
outside right now, so. We've got a Twilight
So,
bark going on here.
Mark Gibbons' character is apparently named Mazel,
Mm-hmm.
and his name's not mentioned in the dialogue, but the character was named after the first assistant director, Bill Mazel.
Yeah.
Or Mizell.
I think it's Mizell, yeah.
Yeah.
Mizell, yeah.
He's just got such a thick voice. It's a
He
juicy
does,
voice. It's very
yeah.
thick. I love it. Mm,
How far can you push an ally before the ally gives up on you?
yeah.
You find out in an episode called Death Knell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's such a shame because the Jafar just want like that extra bit of help, and the Tok'ra are like refusing to collaborate and help them with that. But to be fair, the Jafar are like
Yeah.
kind of overstepping a bit by like making the demand of like, oh, you know, do
Well,
this.
I think
but-
when you like the Tok'ra make this point themselves, they've been fighting this war for a long time.
Against the
Yeah.
Jaffa.
And
Yeah.
yeah, against the Jaffa, exactly.
And it's that whole
And
thing of
not
like
only that,
whenever
like,
they died at the end of the Jafar's staff weapon. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's no one to replace a Tok'ra when they
Yeah.
die. You know, that they've lost their queen, so they're not making any new Tok'ra. And I think the other point is that they've been fighting it for so long that they're kind of just sort of become reliant on themselves,
Yeah.
and they're
Bunch of lone
finding it
wolves.
hard to adjust to letting any other people in to assist them.
Mhm.
And also the Jafar, on the other hand, that they're so new to freedom,
Yeah.
and they haven't figured out how that works for them. You know,
No.
there's not a lot of leaders. You know, they've got to learn
How to do it
how to
from
do that
square
themselves.
one. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it would be hard to collaborate when you've never really run your own campaign.
It must be
you
quite
know?
annoying. Yeah, she's alive. It must be quite annoying to like have all the new kids on the block come in and just start tearing down all the work you were doing, just being like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
we're
would
here,
be
we're taking
awfully,
ownership.
yeah, it would be awfully frustrating to continue your
Yeah.
fight. I swear they film him at a lower frame rate. Or,
To make
or
it
a
more
higher
he's
frame rate,
definitely
rather.
moving slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amanda said that she had a pretty wild time filming this episode because she was bouncing between Grace, Chimera, and Death Knell. So she
Wow.
mentioned how bizarre it was to shoot all of her Death Knell scenes in just 2
Exhaustion
days,
running, exhaustion, no
around
sleep, and then
all bloody and
sexy time.
filthy while switching between like 3 different storylines.
Yeah.
And I think what's sort of fascinating about this episode is how it flips the script on Sam. Like, instead of solving problems with science and gadgets, we're seeing her military training take center stage.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
why I love
And
it. Yeah.
James Hall from The Companion pointed out that her minimal dialogue isn't just a production necessity, but it actually makes the storytelling more powerful.
Doesn't
And
have
we're
time to talk.
witnessing
Yeah.
Sam's, is it SEER training, the survival, evasion, resistance, and escape? Something that we've probably heard mentioned, but rarely seen in action. And like, despite her injuries, her most impressive feat isn't physical endurance, but maintaining this mental clarity under such extreme stress. And I
Yeah.
think I was reading through Reddit, and one person said that this episode continues a concerning pattern for Sam. Like, here she is once again on her own with a head wound, and at this
Yeah.
rate, the show's resident genius might start losing IQ points from these head
Literally,
injuries.
yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
But Olokun's not dead.
Yeah.
I think he lives
No.
through into season 8.
I think he does. Yeah.
I think he's one of the. I think he gets killed along with Bastet, if I'm not mistaken. I may be misremembering though.
Oh.
I know that Morgan lives. She capitulates, so she just surrenders.
About to make a very inappropriate joke about her surrendering. Because why would she surrender when she's wearing that kind of outfit?
Well, that outfit doesn't help her with tactical strategy.
No, it doesn't.
Looks great though.
Oh yeah, she's banger.
Yeah.
I actually really love how they've set this up.
Me too. It's so
Because you just really
you realize
think that it's Sam.
yeah, you
Yeah,
realize quickly that
exactly.
it's
Out
not, but
there.
for a while you are a bit like, whoa, you know. I remember when I
It's
first
a good
watched this
psych
and
out.
I was like, is Jack gonna come in and save her? And then I was like, oh shoot, it's not her.
Oh, what I was thinking when I was watching this yesterday, I would have thought that they'd make the warriors have some sort of like heat-seeking kind of like technology inside their helmet, but
Yeah,
he obviously doesn't.
just pure vibes.
Stargate doesn't do
Yeah.
this a lot. This is very unique.
Yeah. I also really love the way the music kind of goes a bit like happy for a second, because like Sam's finally taken a break and gotten a moment to kind of sit down and rest for a second, taking a little mini nap. Like I think right here the music kind of shifts a little bit. No, here.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. It's like a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah.
There's like that flute and it's a bit lighter.
Exactly. I always, for some reason, I
Yeah.
always remember that little moment of relief where she was able to get that little power nap, that little moment, and then she goes back at it again. So
Sebastian
this
Stan.
Yes, Sebastian Spence. Is that his name?
Spence,
Sebastian
excuse me.
I was going to say Stan. Is this
I'm
Mixing
Bucky?
him up with
he-
someone else.
Winter
yeah.
Soldier?
Yeah, sorry.
So he guest stars as Dalek, the tow crab.
He's also really
and
pretty.
I think he was best known for his role in Battlestar Galactica. It was like Lieutenant Knell.
No.
And the origin of Dalek actually has a really interesting backstory. So this character was named after Derek Lowe, a video producer who worked on the show. And according to the episode commentary, the name Dalek was inspired by Derek's former boss, who consistently mispronounced his name as Dalek.
So Sebastian Spence was the lead in a TV series called First Wave.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So I hate his character in Battlestar. He's on the side of, you know, all the terrible people, and he's one of the guys on Pegasus that was just the worst. But one of the first lines I think I heard him utter, the one I always remember, is when he called the blackbird the homemade tin can.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shut up, Sunshine, which is his call sign, by the way.
Narcho is his call sign.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is it? I got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It is Nacho.
Mm-hmm.
I've written it
not
down.
Nacho, Narcho.
Yeah.
Narcho. It's Narcho.
Yeah, I'm not saying Nacho. I'm saying Narcho, but like I'm pronouncing it the British way.
Of course you are.
Can't help it. Yeah, he's pretty, but I hate him.
I was going to make a silly joke, because the name came from like a mispronunciation, and I think in that case, my Tok'ra name would be Ebor. I used to like regularly visit this cafe near my own old work, and you had to give your name for your order, and I think Yvonne was just too complicated, so
they would write down
Ebor.
I say Nick because they can't say, for some reason, if I put Nicole, I get Nicola, Nikki, or Nicole, and I'm like, okay, right.
I think they do that on purpose, don't they?
Maybe.
Starbucks does it often.
Sometimes they do.
They take liberties, it's a, you find ways to create your own low-level ecstasy. So,
yeah.
Just handing over the coffee, looking at the customer when they see the name written on there and going, ha!
By the way, there's so many people who really struggle with my last name, Rodriguez. They can't say it. Every time I had...
Really? Rodriguez isn't too hard.
No, I know. I don't understand. I had lessons with a teacher that I had briefly at my work. And she'd always say, during recorded segments of our lessons, she'd go, Nicole Rodriguez Galdo. She couldn't say it right.
Interesting.
She just,
not that
it was
hard.
always,
maybe she thought
it's not.
The end of Rodriguez is like silent or something.
I know. I don't know. But there's sometimes it'll be like Nicole Rodriguez. And I'm like, what? So yeah, people are weird.
I don't know, just one of those words that she struggles with. Like, Adam can't say croissant.
Can't?
It's sort of like that. No.
What does he say?
I don't know, just some sort of like croissant.
Croissant?
Croissant.
The next time I have him on, I'm going to make him try and say it.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's where they withheld it, didn't they, from Jacob?
Yep.
They did. Yeah, they did. They went behind his back. So
Yeah.
it's sort of a rare moment where we see Salmak or Jacob directly confront another Tok'ra.
Yeah.
And I was reading through some blogs yesterday, and there's a blog by someone called Nerdgate Hobbit, and they suggested that this scene raises fascinating questions about Salmak. Like, perhaps Salmak sees their partnership, like their balanced partnership with Jacob, as what a Tok'ra host relationship should be, while other Tok'ra like Dalek maintain dominance over their hosts.
Politics.
Making them not very different from the system lords in that respect.
It's politics, and it's not so simple. You know, we know that they've. I mean, this is when we really find out that they've been taking stuff from Selmak, because Selmak has been influenced by Jacob considerably.
Yeah.
And is Selmak talking here?
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
So.
But he's basically saying that, Jacob Carter has had no more influence on me than any other host. But I think that's a lie.
I think the difference with
Selmak
Jacob is that
lying
Jacob
to
has a
himself.
kid. He has like investment in
Family?
Earth and
Maybe.
humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most of the Tok'ra hosts don't really have family; they just have each other.
And
I think the fact that he's from a military background as well might offer more insight than your average host.
I'm going to have to say for Dalek, I don't think that he and the Tok'ra High Council are completely wrong.
I agree.
They suspect that Jacob's allegiances are divided, and
they are so right.
That if Jacob and Selmak if Selmak were supposed to choose between the Tok'ra and Earth, I bet Selmak would choose Earth.
Sam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But
he has to go. He has to go mend fences.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And the next time we see him, that's it.
But like,
devastated.
Like, I guess, in that, Dalek does make a good point. He says you pass on anything to the humans, and he literally does. Like, after their conversation, he's here speaking.
Yeah, he doesn't think he doesn't give it a lick of thought, because he trusts his friend, whom he's. I mean, I don't know how far they go back, but it's a while, implicitly.
Yeah.
So Jacob and Selmak are definitely the idealized.
Yes.
The living proof that a Tok'ra Tauri alliance can be pretty amazing. But both outside forces, the Tok'ra and the Tauri, don't necessarily think that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's another reason why I like this episode. I love this conflict. It's that whole thing that I kind of liked about Fallout as well. It's the umming and ahhing about the host and the symbiote relationships, and that how connected they are, and what is affected within them based on what they're doing and how they're existing. And I just feel like the Tok'ra, it's quite sad, because I feel like Jacob's very alone in the situation, because the Tok'ra don't entirely see him as one of their own right now. They're kind of treating him more like an outsider.
He's not really truly accepted by either the Tok'ra or the humans.
Well, when he's speaking on behalf of the Tok'ra High Council, he's not doing that completely. So he can't.
This is reused footage from the first ones. And the accuracy of the Cull Warrior's shooting is kind of interesting, because he easily shoots down a flying UAV, but repeatedly misses Sam at close range.
Yeah, I know. It's awfully convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Stormtrooper aim when stormtroopers are shooting at leads.
Yep.
I'm assuming that the Cull Warrior micro staff blasts were not from the first ones.
No,
I don't think so.
I know they weren't. There were no such thing at the first ones. But the opening shot, yes.
Yeah. The opening shot was,
Get back in here.
He is a very tall man.
I know. I love this conversation. I'm very excited.
It's an honest conversation, but you can tell that they both respect the other.
Yeah. Just one leader speaking to another. Jacob's got a lot on his shoulders today. Stuart Miller said she got that plot armor to Sam.
That's it.
She does.
That plot armor's pretty strong stuff.
Tritonin!
He knows about Tritonin.
Yeah.
Jed Ted, Carter versus the Cull Warrior feels like Kirk versus Gorn. There is a little bit of that, yeah. But there's not going to be a Metrone interceding at the end. Yeah.
This is again why I would have really liked, more exploration of Gould being turned to the other side. It's only happened a couple times, and one was a failed attempt, and the other time they died before we could have fun in Fallout. So, absolute shame we don't get to see more. Damn right.
I think Selmak's a good negotiator.
I love Selmak.
He fails, but
he tries.
Yeah.
He does try.
I feel like if Selmak was in a pickle and he texted the Jafar and said, "Oi, I need a lift or something, I need some help," they'd come to save his ass really fast. So I think that at least he's got that in the bag. His relationship's great with the Jafar, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they just won't be working kind of like side by side on operations.
Yeah.
They don't
Which is a shame, because that's what they need,
hate each other.
because they're going to accidentally like wipe each other's forces out. Like the Tok'ra secret agents are going to get offed left, right, and center.
So there's a bit of a continuity error. So when the UAV was shot down earlier, we saw its right wing get blown off, but now that Sam's found the wreckage, the right wing is actually still attached.
Dear, oh dear.
And the James Robbins, the art director, actually designed the small missiles that we see on the UAV. So cool detail. They were actually specifically created for this episode so that Sam could salvage them from the crashed drone and MacGyver a way to fight back against the super soldier.
I love that she's going to do something with that mass of wires and circuit board.
Maybe
she knows what she's doing.
The goof isn't like completely, everyone's fault. As in, look at this shot. It's got Sam with the plane here, like upside down. So maybe when people were doing like the edits afterwards and the special effects, they accidentally saw that shot and went, "Oh yes, it's that wing that's
Yeah, it
blown
went
off."
the wrong way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not vitally important. Like, I
No,
did
no,
go
no,
back
but
and
I'm
take
just
a screenshot of the
it's interesting
of it getting shot down. But yeah, it
it's
doesn't
interesting
really matter.
to see the behind, try and figure out like how the mistake could have happened, and like that's a pretty good excuse. You know, like I can easily see myself making that kind of mistake if I was in that position.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't affect the story, so
Nah.
it's not really that important.
This is good stuff. I mean, this is like, you feel for everyone at this table, and it's like, what are you gonna do? You know, the problem is that the goals of the different parties are not in perfect alignment, and where you've got the overlap, you're eventually going to have a fatal separation of these powers.
I think when I realized this episode was one of the ones I loved the most about season 7 was when I stopped baking to watch this scene. Because it was the first time I think I'd ever like truly really appreciated how fantastic season 7 was. I'd never properly gone through it, and I remember just sitting there just being absolutely astonished with how good this episode's like political scenes are. So.
And it does, his comment about Egeria, it does suggest with what we know about you that the Toker will eventually just all die from old age.
Yes.
They're not immortal.
No, they're not.
No, and that's the thing. It's kind of reminds me of like the Asgard, you know, they're all going to die at some point, and it's just really sad to see all our allies just getting picked off.
So,
Stormtrooper aim.
Yeah. So Nerdgate Hobbit, again online, said that while we don't often see Sam needing rescue, even here she's essentially orchestrating her own salvation. Like by repurposing the UAV missile, she now only weakens the Cull Warrior, but also creates the signal that leads Jack and Tilk to her location.
That was a big boom.
And plus, she designed the very weapon that Jack uses to finish the job.
Yeah.
So as they note, it's like a nice role reversal considering how many times she saved her teammates throughout the series.
Lockwatcher, I hear a lawnmower and a barking dog
about to say
outside
that.
the house. Can David do anything about it? I hope that's in jest. All right.
I was about to read that out. It's hilarious. That made me laugh a lot.
Now, Dan Payne, you want to share the story about this, Yvie?
Dan Payne.
Do you not know the story? Okay, so Dan Payne had to hold his breath for about a minute before coming out of that, and he almost passed out. So he couldn't hear action, so he was just kind of like, I'm going to go for it, and he came out at the right time and went through the whole sequence.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, you know, oxygen deprived, but
he was oxygen deprived. Yeah.
What a bro.
What
See,
a
look, that's
cool
why it's got
shot.
Stormtrooper aim. That's why it's oxygen deprived.
So I was gonna go through. I've actually got quite a few points about this famous comfort scene that's coming up.
I'm obsessed with it.
My favorite of the whole episode.
I love the behind the scenes where they kiss.
So yeah, so the famous scene coming up where Sam rests against Jack did cause some behind the scenes debate. So Amanda Tapping wasn't initially comfortable with it because she worried it made Sam seem weak after surviving so much on her own.
She
and
needs
she
a
told
hug.
Peter DeLuise that Daniel or Tilk wouldn't lean on Jack that way, but he actually said that it was like a natural soldier's response after extreme stress. And Peter was pretty adamant, like basically saying that Sam had been through hell and deserved a moment of comfort. So Amanda eventually approached her from the angle of pure relief at being alive and reunited with the people she thought she might never see again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And critics and fans interpreted this moment in lots of different ways. Some saw it as a rare emotional vulnerability for Sam, and others saw it as a display of deep comradeship forged through shared trauma. And of course, shippers had their own take.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
I have a combination
me
opinion.
included.
Yeah.
And James Hoare from The Companion sees the scene not as shipping fodder, but as authentic military camaraderie. So a bond only those who've shared battlefield trauma understands.
I
And
mean,
he noted that Sam only collapses once the threat is gone, sort of showcasing how military training keeps survival instincts engaged until the danger passes. So it's when she can finally sort of power down and that emotion catches up with her.
You'd be
I mean, I just
surprised how
think,
much you can run
know,
on adrenaline.
Yeah,
I
she just
know.
When
needs
it's gone.
a minute.
This is a
She's
great,
safe
great
now.
shot.
Yeah, I love it. I
love
love
this
the way she
too.
stands. How long's he gonna stand there though, like that?
As
It's
long as
funny.
it takes.
We say that like the hugging and stuff's a bit weird, but like when Daniel's going absolutely off on one in need, he goes a bit mental.
That's true.
And then Jack gives him a big
Gives him a
hug.
hug. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So I just think that sometimes you just need that moment of relief where you can feel safe for a second, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so Nicole, I've got an answer to your question from earlier.
Oh my God, yes. Let's go.
So Peter DeLuise actually had a very clever storytelling strategy with this alliance breakup. So
Okay.
he deliberately wanted to isolate Earth before the big season finale showdown with Anubis. So
Fair.
by removing their powerful allies, Earth would seem way more vulnerable when the attack came, which raised the dramatic stakes.
It's season
That's
5
really good.
all over again.
Yeah,
they're
that's
knocking
good.
everyone off. So
Yeah.
you can't kill all the Toker in their Toker caves this time. So we're going to just remove
It's
them
just a
from the
shame
negotiating table.
that they just didn't bring them back in full force in the following seasons anymore.
Right.
It's like that they were like, SG-1's made it too far now, like they end up having Atlantis and they've got all their warships, so it's like we kind of don't need everyone else. Is kind of how it felt after this season.
I know. I guess they're just they're evolving and they're not moving past their former alliances, but they're developing,
Yeah.
So a person on Reddit noted something that I completely agree with. So Don S. Davis really shines in this episode.
Yes.
Shannon excels in these kinds of diplomatic scenarios, like balancing compassion for his personnel with firm leadership during a crisis. And he really brought some gravitas and warmth to the character.
Hey,
Also, where's
we're
Doc
back.
Fraser?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where has she
In the
been? She's about to
infirmary
get killed off.
scenes.
Where is she?
I know. Yeah.
I know.
Such bull.
I think the last time we saw her was Lifeboat, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Oh God, that's ages
Yeah,
ago. I think it just
exactly.
feels like ages ago as well because we've really stretched out this season.
Yeah.
That's
Season
true,
7's
too.
been really stretched
So
out.
this sucks because she's just gotten back and she's like, oh yeah, I lived.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, oh yeah, got to peace out now. Everything went really bad while you weren't here.
Exactly.
No cake today. Not like Grace.
No cake. Just a
Yeah.
big slice of see you later.
Yep. Way later.
Oh. Yeah.
You can actually see the blood on her pillow, which I think is quite real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
That's
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
They didn't do a very good job dressing that wound.
I would have thought they'd cover it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't have to put the pillow through decontamination.
Exactly.
Oh. What a
When I come
beautiful
back,
dynamic.
Selmac will have been passed out for weeks.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, say goodbye to Selmac. So, Death Knell apparently premiered in the UK before it actually hit the
Excuse me.
US
Yep, Sky
as
One.
Sci-Fi's highest rated show that week, and the
Nice.
Canadians had to wait until December of
Yep.
Oh my-
2004.
Yep. Unless you had these
It
things
aired
called
in January.
torrents.
Ah.
So critics were actually generally split. TV Zone and Starburst gave low marks, only 5 out of 10 and 2 out of 5. And Starburst dismissed it as a budget-saving episode, which I don't really
Wow.
agree with.
What?
I don't
They
agree
were
with that at
outside.
all.
SFX criticized the pacing but praised the acting. And the Companion and Gate World kind of had more positive reviews. Ali Snow from Gate
The real
World
Stargate
highlighted
fans.
the balance of the political drama and action.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's Death Knell, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us.
Banging episode. I have such a weird sweet spot for this episode. It's
I thought
I-
leading into the episode you were going to have negative beef.
no, I've got beef,
But
but
you
not
have
because I'm
positive
angry
beef.
at it. I'm mad at the outcome. And
Mhm.
you've reinforced the fact that like the decision making was because of Lost City, and that's good. Like it's setting up Lost City perfectly because you do feel so isolated.
That's why it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I really, really love the way that this episode balances the action and the politics and conversations. I honestly, I adore them all sitting in the room having all the little arguments, because it doesn't feel as silly as all the other conflicts when they get all the politicians in and they're all like bickering and arguing like in Fallout.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's just so serious. There's so also it's back to like season 2, you know, when we just met the Toker for the first time, and there's all this tension, and the Jafar resistance is only just like you know, coming, and there's only a couple Jafar there. We're back to that kind of stuff again, where Stargate's really grabbing its lore.
You can't take them for granted as allies.
Yeah, and I really, really love the way that season 7 really does feel like a fantastic culmination of all the previous relationships, but not everything is going to end up in a nice, neat bow, and I'm sad about that. So I've got beef because I'm annoyed that Toker are basically gone. And I'm never going to see them like this again. Honestly, I'm like devastated. I feel like I've lost a friend. So I love the Toker. I've got beef, but I love them. So I'm going to give this a 6. I hold a special place in my heart for this episode. So.
All right.
Okay.
I love that they have a real chase with this Cull Warrior. They could really make it feel like it's this thin veiled threat, but they keep shooting at it and they can't take it down. I think that really is a success. I think that Amanda's performance in this episode is great. I love Carmen. And I love that there is real consequence to the mythology with this episode, where they're pulling out. They could have just easily said, well, you know, let's just table this. No, they're walking away for a while. I give this one a 4.
Oh, okay. I'm like torn between a 5 and a 6. I'm trying to be more twisty. Sorry, I've got this cat who's trying to climb up into my arms, and I'm like
opinions.
trying to hold him down.
He's trying to give a review.
So I'm torn between the very passionate Sam and Jack shipper side of me, and you know, trying to be you know, having a more balanced view of this episode. So I think I am going to give it a 5. I think I'm going to lean towards a 5. So I do like the whole, you know, Cull Warrior chase with Sam through the Canadian woods.
Canada.
I think that Canada. I think it's built up really well, and I like seeing Sam alone with sort of nothing but, you know, her pocket knife and just grit, determination, and her survival skills. We haven't really seen her like that. Even in Grace, it wasn't really like that, because she had technology, and this, she doesn't have anything. So it was really cool to see her survive with what little she had. Obviously, I love the scene with Jack and Sam at the end. I'm not crazy about political stuff, generally speaking, but I do like that this is really leading up to the end of the season, and it makes sense for the plot.
Yep.
And you know, we've kind of been, I guess, losing the Tok'ra anyway. You know, it's been like a very gradual build up. You know, there's been many times where Earth hasn't been able to rely on them, because you
There's
know,
only so
they
much
move
you can
around
do
a
with
lot.
them.
They're nomads, you know. So it just is kind of disappointing that, I guess, Earth has passed on so much technology, including the Telchak device, and I don't really see the Toka saying thanks for that. They're just like, yeah, we're going to take this.
We
and we're
deserve
gonna
this.
eat. Yeah,
Go away.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're very it's like, is it magnanimous? Is that the right word? They're kind of like, you know, we've been doing this for thousands of years, way
We
before you
deserve
even a
it.
concept. You know, we deserve this. Yeah.
Well, what is it? Don't quote the text to me. I was there when they were written.
I was there when it was written.
Yeah.
Is that they take the technology with them?
I don't know if I assume they
No,
have
we have
system
it.
chat
We have
device.
it.
No, we
Oh,
haven't.
no, we have because we modify our P90s to fight them in Lost City.
Yeah, I think we keep it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we
okay.
give
I think
them
we
a
have
piece
versions
of
for ourselves. Yes,
stuff.
I imagine everyone walking away from that table will have a copy of the technology for sure for their own
Look at
protection.
her being so nice and helping everyone out. I love it.
So
So we've
how
got
we
a
roll.
4,
but-
5, and a 6 from us, guys. That's nice.
Yeah, I
There we
think
go.
so. Yeah, 4, 5, and a 6. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed. I got a weird space in my heart for that episode. So we've got Gecko Fett with a 6 out of 7. Anthony said I'm torn between a 4 and a 5 for this episode. I think it's a 4. We've got Jet said Jack sitting next to Sam reminds me of toward the end of Mass Effect 3. Yeah, there's a moment where the two leaders, after when the war finally is coming to an end, they both kind of sit with each other and sigh with exhaustion, and they're like, "We've done it. Like this is it." You know, it's a great moment. We've got Stuart Miller, a 6 for me. Robin Christensen, really like this episode. I'm also a 6. I love this. It's great. Jacob, 6, underrated, grounded, tense, and focused. Sam's storyline is great performance and well-made survival arc. A real politic angle of Tok'ra Jafar Tari alliance is so good. Love it. Feels like a film. Yeah, honestly, I feel like everyone was kind of firing on all cylinders. All the different plot lines were doing great.
Yeah.
Lockwatcher, this is a 6. Angus Carter Kirk does a MacGyver and fights the Gorn on a lone planet. Makeup 180 degrees difference from the previous episode. Carter kicks super soldier butt. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
versatile
complete 180.
versatile person. Yep.
Yeah. Dan Ben, 5 out of 7. Jacob said, when I say underrated, it's because I've always felt it didn't stand out. I may be wrong, but it's such a strong episode. Yeah, I feel like it was never an episode that I very much paid attention to when I was a kid. And then as I got older, I went, oh crap, this is amazing. What am I doing?
It's pretty important.
It is. Jed Ted 7 chevrons. Candy Mitt said, being as I barely watched it and more listened to you as in the background, it gets my lowest score of 3. I'm not a fan of the super soldier storyline. That is a-okay, you know, like
That's a fair
enjoy
point.
Stargate whichever way that you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I appreciate you just being here to listen to us, Candy. You're so
I was
lovely.
gonna say, oh my god,
So cute.
instead of each to their own, I was gonna say each to their drone.
Oh, Yvie, back on it.
I think that's neither here nor there.
This is the Yvie that we've been missing. You need to get more puns. She's back.
Such funnies.
It's like McKay being like, oh, like no, Zelenka going, hey, he's back. It's like I never left.
I've been here all along.
Raj Luthra said 5 out of 7 chevrons for Death Knell would have been good if Teal'c had more to do. Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's true too.
You know, he was with Jack, and obviously RDA is busy, not being in the show. I wish there were more references about the Alliance continued, at least up to season 8. Also, I wish they had a Milky Way and Pegasus anti-Ori resistance alliance with returning characters helping the SGC, Atlantis team, etc., fighting the Oris and followers. Yeah, I agree. And Jacob said, I'd say ironically, Super Soldier is actually the least interesting part of the episode. I agree. I think my favorite part is actually the politics and Sam running. Seeing the Super Soldier, I was a bit like, you're okay.
I think it works. I'm glad. I'm glad that they tried it. You know, but the fact that it lasts for half a season, I think, is appropriate. I think that plays well. So
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. Are we back next weekend?
I am at
we're
a
off.
hen party, so
Okay.
it's my fault. I'm sorry, but it should be good.
Apologize. There's
You're allowed
life.
to have a
You're
life
allowed to have
outside
life
this.
happen. That's the thing
Yeah,
about
life.
this show. What we do is, you know, if something comes up for one of us, we're allowed to call it, and no questions asked. Except, what are you doing? So we like to know what you're doing, because your life is often interesting. So okay then. So yes, we will be back on June the 1st with Heroes 1 and 2. June the 8th, Resurrection and Inauguration. June
What
15th.
a great way to start June.
Will be Lost City.
I know.
And then I believe June 18th is going to be midweek movie Galaxy Quest.
Yes!
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! And
I'm
that,
so
guys,
excited.
I think that'll be just before my big birthday.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Join me.
I'm really, really excited.
We have
I'm
back pain.
I'm so excited, guys. We're about to hit a really good point. I'm really looking forward to Lost City. I am going to bring popcorn, and I'll be quietly. I'll do this when I'm munching it. I'll be like,
Okay. Yeah,
so
sounds
not
good.
have people hear me.
All
I'm bringing popcorn.
right.
It's like a movie.
Yeah,
so
finally, I just feel like this season has just been dragging.
It
Yeah,
has,
Fat
because
just
we've
said-
taken a lot of
Yeah.
breaks.
something terrible.
We have.
He just said, "Big birthday?" Question mark 50. You're rude, Gecko Fett.
4, not 5. Yeah, come on, man. Jeez.
I think he's teasing. He's teasing.
Do I
He's
look
trying to
that
be
bad?
mean. And
Jeez.
Robin Christensen said, Nicole, ring me next time you bake. Yeah, I like baking during Stargate sequences. So, yeah, it'll come back. And June 1st, bring some Kleenex. Yep. And Lockwatch just
Yeah.
said 28 question mark. There you go. See, I want to remind everyone that when I was
love you,
out
Lockwatch.
with Yvie back in 2019, Yvie got ID'd and I didn't. Okay, so I want that noted. A reminder to everyone.
Wow.
And I'm like, am I 13 years older than you or something?
Honestly, I was devastated. I was like, what is this? This is disgusing treatment
this
of
is
me. I was
black
I think
21.
I was just being kind.
I was 21, so I don't know,
Wow.
Yvie. I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna get rolling here. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks for the mods for modding. Thanks for the watchers for watching, and thanks for the hosts for hosting. We will speak to you guys really soon.
Love it.
See you later.
Everyone's doing their thing. Bye now.
Bye.